Welcome to the Gracefilled and Graceful podcast, where we break free from feeling like we have to be in constant hustle mode in order to hit our success goals while growing our online businesses. I'm your host, Jennifer Emanuel, and I share bite-sized, actionable strategies, systems, and tips that allow you to focus on your God-given strengths and experience so that you can provide a great income for your family, and all in a way that feels good to your soul. Let's start today's conversation. It's Jennifer, and we are live here at Gracefilled and Graceful, our Facebook community, recording the podcast for today. And today we're actually going to be talking about something that I think is a really great idea to have kind of an overview of if you have a hard time picturing creating this business that works with your strengths in a way that feels great to your soul. We're going to be talking about today idea to execution. Everything that you need to know for the podcast, anything we're going to be talking about is going to be in the show notes. I'm pretty impressed with how detailed I get in the show notes, so please just wander around on there and see what kind of fun there is. I wanted to hop over into the fun segment that we do each week about some holidays to enjoy. Sometimes it's difficult for people to come up with things to talk about, and so for right now, I'm telling you about all the fun holidays coming up this week so that you have something to talk about or to get somebody else talking about, and then you can just listen and nod if that's most comfortable for you. So this week we have December 10th. That is the day the podcast comes out. December 10th, Friday, is actually Dewey Decimal System Day. So if you are Gen Xer like me, you remember learning this in school. And I love the Dewey Decimal System. It just made sense. And it was so exciting at the end of looking for the book that you're looking for in the library to find that treasure of a book right where it was supposed to be. It was so encouraging and satisfying. Nobel Prize Day, as well as Human Rights Day. December 11th is National App Day. So thank goodness, what would we do with just a phone without any apps on it? Just talk on it. How boring. So National App Day, December 12th is Gingerbread House Day. I don't know about you, but I fall for it every year and buy a kit. Midway through, I realized how much I didn't like it because it just doesn't work. I don't decorate it, the kiddos do, and I just let go of the idea of it looking anything like the pretty one on the box. And basically just looks like a heap of candy that they eat all week long. Happy National Gingerbread House Day, December 12th. December 13th is Cocoa Day. December 14th, National Alabama Day. I put that because I don't know that any of the other states have their own day. So there you go, Alabama. Share our podcast with people that you know in Alabama so we can get them on board here. National 15th, Cupcake Day. Now, as far as desserts go, as a way to eat cake, my favorite form is cupcake. Oh, and this is fun too. December 15th is Wear Your Pearls Day. I knew a girl in college that wore pearls every day, even with like t-shirts and shorts, and they looked great on her. I just have never ever seemed to be able to pull that off. Okay, December 16th, Chocolate Covered Anything Day and Ugly Sweater Day. So that is what's coming up for the next week for holidays. Enjoy celebrating, a reason to celebrate, ways to start a conversation or change a conversation. That is my gift to you. Shout outs. We did shout outs for the first time, that segment last week. I'm going to do that in just a minute, kind of a break while we're talking about our main topic today. I did want to also let you know that upcoming, there's going to be another little segment about some connections, some things that I've learned that I want to put out for you so that you can learn from them, glean from them, be changed by them, and you can enjoy that coming up soon. So what I thought I would do this week is go ahead and jump real quick into the main topic so that you can get that as quick as possible. And then as we go through, I'll put in those other segments of shout outs and connections. So I don't know about you, but the idea of taking the idea and bringing it into fruition can be daunting, scary, frustrating. You might not even believe that you'll be able to do it. And so I'm going to show you kind of a framework of some steps that you can take to take the idea into execution. Some questions that you can ask. And these are the types of things that are covered in working with me a little bit more in detail. Speaking of detail, be sure that you click the link in the show notes so that you can have access to a blog that I post. I have a blog for every podcast that I post, and it's not like the transcript. It's a completely different thought about the same subject, and I really enjoy bringing those to you. So be sure you take a look at that. It's at locals.com. Idea to execution. I think so many times it's so easy with all of the ideas and people talking at us to can get confused, frustrated, slowed down, engulfed by so much to do. We are chased down by to-do lists, right? Part of the process that I teach is all about simplification of things, making them easier to digest and work with and transform into the end product that you have envisioned for yourself. And so in working with people and helping to showing them how to bring their ideas into fruition, one of the steps that a lot of, I'd say most of the people that I work with are lacking is that step-by-step process from point A to point B, just in getting that next idea into action. It's all about the journey. And since we here at Gracefilled and Graceful are mega focused, hyper focused on enjoying the journey, knowing what your next little baby step is, wouldn't you agree, can tremendously help you enjoy that journey. So let's start talking about this. I have some quick questions for you, and then we're going to talk about some different points, defining a starting point, kind of talk about a roadmap, some mile markers and landmarks, and some organization of thoughts. Now, this isn't everything that I have on this subject, but I do want to give you some nitty gritty so that you can take it and actually put it into work this week. And I would love to hear from you over on Instagram or in our Facebook group, Gracefilled and Graceful, which you can click underneath in the show notes. You can get access to that group. I would love to know what actionable steps that you took in helping to provide yourself with more clarity on this subject. So let's just start with a couple of questions. I want you to pick one personal or professional goal that you have, and then we're going to activate it with this process. What is one thing that you want to do someday? That can get a little dangerous, can't you? Someday is not a day of the week, but what is one little idea that's brewing in that noggin of yours? And based on that someday goal, what is the one thing that I can do in the next 5 years that will help propel you? So it seems like the longer away a goal is, the bigger it is, right? So what is one thing that you can do within the next 5 years to make that end goal something that's even closer to you? Then based on my 5-year goal, what is the one thing that I can do this year? So from December to December of next year, December 2020, what is the one thing you can do this year that can be part of that 5-year marker that will lead you to the someday? Based on my 1-year goal, what is the one thing I can do this month? And since we are enjoying the journey of building our businesses month in the month of December, yes, what can one thing be this month that is doable with your lifestyle and your schedule, so that you can maintain your sanity, your peace, your harmony, your flow, your conscious? And then based on a monthly goal, what is one thing I can do this week? We are interested in a bunch of little wins, not huge leaps and bounds. Things that can happen over and over again. And when it's doable, it's repeatable. And it's something that you enjoy repeating. Of course, we're going to break it down once more. What is one thing that you can do today? Today is one of those days that is like, for me, one of those days that are like one thing after another. It's not my favorite way to enjoy a day, but I have been taking necessary steps to stay present, stay focused, and enjoy the journey. How can I find a way to enjoy the journey? So based on my weekly goal, what's one thing I can do today? And then based on my daily goal, what is one thing I can do right now? Those are some really great questions to get the process started of bringing an idea and into fruition, and taking the idea, creating a step-by-step process that's easy. There's not too many things I say are easy, but if it's easy, then it will get done for sure. Okay, so when we're on a journey, we always have to decide where we're starting. Would you not agree? When you're pulling out of the driveway in your car, you know where you are. You're in your driveway in your car, and you know what the journey should look like. You're going from here to there. There's going to be different landmarks you see, different benchmarks that you hit. Let's talk about your starting point, not what you don't have, what you don't know how to do, or what step you don't know is coming, but what assets, resources, and habits do you currently have that are going to help you with your journey. Anytime I start to feel overwhelmed by the idea that I can't do something, or that it's going to be difficult or challenging, or it's going to take forever, or it's going to be grueling, once I realize what my brain is doing, I counteract it by saying, thank you for everything I have. Get in the grateful energy. It's much more productive than in the panic energy. Thank you for everything I have. You've given me everything that I have for where I need to go next. Okay, what do I have? Let's go down that road. It's a much more enjoyable journey. What do I have? What can I do with what I have? Then what we're going to do is we're going to define the finish line. If you're going on a road trip, you're pulling out of your driveway in your car, or am I going? You don't. Okay, you have an idea that you can use for business. What is the finish line look like? The idea changed from energy, the idea, into a physical entity, something that you can see come into play. Everything that we have around us are things that we've purchased, probably, unless we're in nature, which makes nature so much more fun. But all of these things were just ideas. Scotch had an idea for scissors. This company with outside showers had an idea to mass mail these postcards. This glass was an idea at one point, and they took the baby steps necessary. What assets, resources, and habits you currently have that are going to help you with your journey? Now, we don't have time to spend a long time on this, but one thing that you can do is focus on what you do have, and you do have the capability of brainstorming. Brainstorming is like it's getting the momentum going. It's going from a dead stop to tapping on the accelerator just to get things moving. Because if you're not moving and your foot's not on the accelerator, you're not going to move. You're going to be just stuck, right? So brainstorming is a great way to get the creative mind working so that you can actually put your toe on the accelerator and start moving. Because once you're moving, then you can steer. You can't steer a parked car. You're just going to ruin your tires, right? So create a space where you can brainstorm ideas for how you're going to get to the completed goal. And you know what? Brainstorming works like this. Not everything, in most cases, barely anything is the thing that you will actually use to move forward. However, the idea of having a free open range of any idea that pops into your head will beget more ideas that pop into your head. I'm going to do just the quick intermission here. We are being enjoyed in Germany, Canada, California, Chicago, Texas. I invite you to share this podcast with people that you know in other areas outside of your city, maybe the town over, or the state over, or the country over, somebody that really aligns with our values in creating an online business, an online brand to help others, to partner with others, by teaching them what our strengths are. Because chances are you're good at something and somebody else isn't. Well, they need to know what you know, how you do it, so that they can win as well. My goal is to spread the word that there's a way to take your God-given strengths and gifts, put them out there, be able to find customers that need what you have, be able to serve them in a way that out of alignment with who you really are. And I think it's so much in society, we are made to fit in a box when it comes to our employment, when it comes to our jobs. And I think if corporate America would take more accounting of who's good at what, and the good companies do, and what they enjoy, the turnover would be much lower. I mean, what is that called? The Great Resignation that's going on right now. I'm seeing it in all sectors. The Great Resignation. The 2020 gave people some 2020 vision. I think that's probably being said too much. And people really did take a look at what they were doing and want to change. So you are at the right place at the right time in taking your skills so that you can teach them to other people, make a great income, and do it in a way that feels great to your soul. All right, so when we're going from point A to point B, there's going to be some mile markers. Would you not agree that there's those little numbers along the road when you're on a highway anyways, mile markers? So these are some questions that you can ask yourself. Or this is a question. What are the major things that if you actually achieved them, they would without question get you to your goal? Then Go to the end of your goal and ask, what's a step right before this? And then work backwards from there. So you're going to start at mile marker 3, then go back to mile marker 2, then mile marker 1, and then you'll find yourself where you are now. Does that make sense? So go to the end of the goal. So let's think of a goal. My goal is to have a piece of paper cut in half. That's my goal. What is the step right before then? Put the scissors down. What is the step right before then? Use the scissors to cut the paper. Put my hands down on the scissors to squeeze them. What's the step right before that? Pick up the scissors. What do I need to do to get from my starting point to my first mile marker? Create possibilities and brainstorm. Write down everything you can think of. Everything that you can think of. Put your brain in that creative momentum, allowing yourself to come up with the ideas, because I believe from my experience that everything you need to know it's in there. It's in there, but we have to put ourselves in an energy to unlock that creative force that's in there. Okay, so now you have a list. You have brainstormed. Some of those ideas are spot on. Prioritize in what order things should be done by asking the focusing question, which is, what is the one thing I could do that such by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? And that, if it sounds familiar, it does come from a book called I think it's called The One Thing. I can put that in the show notes. What is the one thing that you could do that such by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? Talk about simplification. And then start to take action. So let's review. The idea that you have that one day you want to do something. What's the one thing? You're going to start at the end. What's the one thing in the next 5 years you can do? The next thing in the next year, the next thing in the next month, the next week, the next day. What can you do now? Then you're going to define where you are and where you want to go. You're going to brainstorm for how you're going to get to the completed goal. And you're going to come into that activity knowing that it's in there and that you are going to be completely relaxed and calm about it bubbling its way to the top of your brain so that you can write it down. It's there. And let me give you a little bit of a secret. You are more apt to work on the ideas that come out of your own brain than you are to copy and reenact ideas that come out of other people's brains. It's almost like you trust it more because it came from you. Then decide what the mile markers are. Work backwards. Remember the scissors. Let's talk about the landmarks. What do I need to do to get from my starting point to my next mile marker? Those are the landmarks. And then organize those landmarks so you know which one to take first. And you can even eliminate a bunch of them, probably. Remember that one question? All right. I wanted to talk with you now about some things that I have learned this week that I wanted to share with you. This book that I'm reading, by the way, when there's a book that comes out that I hear somebody talk about, because I see the value of having a physical book. I enjoy reading physical books. However, I don't like clutter. So my plan of action is to go to my library. Now I do this because I want to read the book, or at least get it in my hands to look through it and kind of get an idea of it for free before I purchase it. Okay, there is a really great online resale bookshop called Abe Books, like Abraham Lincoln. I believe that's what it is. I'll put that in the show notes as well. But you can get used books, and it's like a co-op, like it's a bunch of used bookstores participate. So you're getting books from potentially all over the country. So instead of having to be like, man, I don't have any used bookstores, or I have a small used bookstore in town, because I read them from the library first and then decide if I want them. And then I try to get them used. And then if I can't, then I buy them new. My process so that I can, number one, only have the books that I really want to have laying around. This book, I'm finally getting to it, is The Clearing of Emotional Clutter by Donald Altman. Mindfulness practices for letting go of what's blocking your fulfillment and transformation. And what I like about it so far is it's not like it's not therapy. It's working with the idea that it's all in there and letting go of some of the stuff, aka emotions, that is holding you back because it's very cumbersome, I guess you could say. And so I've really been enjoying the book. I'll give a shout out to some of the chapter titles: Recognizing and Clearing Away Old Emotional Clutter, Healing Relational Clutter and Ancestral Clutter, Preventing New Emotional Clutter with Daily Decluttering, and Transformation and Fulfillment with Peace, Purpose, and Wholeness. And so we were talking about the energy of getting into brainstorming. And I think that a book like this, with some of the topics that it covers, really will help you get into that energy a lot more quickly, because brainstorming is about no rules and just letting the ideas come out. It can be difficult to get into that energy if that's not the energy you're used to being in, but it definitely will move you farther along. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being a part of today's podcast. I love seeing a project from above to see like the beginning to the end. Sometimes it's difficult for me because I want to see what the end looks like, but if it's a big project, sometimes you don't know. And if you try to plan the end, it'll look different by the time you get there. So some projects it is more beneficial for me to just get started and then trust where it's going. But when it comes to some other things, it really is simple. It's a simple process. Oh, I was going to say, go ahead, and if you have questions, you can do a couple of things. Also, future podcasts, I would love to get your opinion on that. Or you can find me on Instagram. My email is there as well. I would love to hear from you what you like about the podcast, what you would change about it, what you'd like to add to it, and who you've shared it with, and what areas of the country or the world, because I would sure love to get the message spread as quickly as possible, because I think that a lot of people are where we are as it is to building their own business. In fact, I'll wrap up with this. I mentioned before the great resignation that's going on right now. I clicked on an article about the things that were most Googled in this past year. One of the things that was most Googled, and I don't know the time frame, if it was more than any other time in history or what exactly it was, but more people over 2021 Googled how to work for myself than in a lot of other time in the past. And so you are at the right place at the right time, and I am definitely the right person for you to help you move to that next step, grow that thing, feel great in your skin, do it in a way that feels great to your soul, all in alignment and enjoyable and shareable and duplicatable. Be sure that you like and follow and star and thumbs up all the things depending on how you're listening to this podcast. For now, we'll see you then.